Hello all, this is Researcher Sprite, here to mention that this log mentions forms of self-harm. If you do not wish to hear about this, you may skip to the time placed on screen. Log 7. I have managed to escape the eye that I mentioned at the end of my last log, and have found a way to keep them from following me. I have used one of the knives we brought with us to carve some symbols that frequently appear in this place into my forearm. I have noticed that with these symbols the eyes have yet to show up, however the automatons have returned to following me. I still have no clue why they do so, or why they do not react to me looking at them, but do so for everyone else. We have discovered more rooms that fill up the inside of this forge. One, and only one of these rooms, was filled with strange items that have something strange about them. And that is the only way I can explain it, truly. First was a cloak that allowed one to swap places with someone else instantaneously, as long as both participants were in shadow. And the second was a necklace with a piece of amber as the pendant. On that piece of amber was one of the markings that I put in my arms. However, we do not know what it does. I assume it would keep the eyes away. However, we don't have any way of knowing, and I only wish we had found this before I created my own solution. Third was a book written in the same script as the note from the beginning of my journey. However, we cannot decipher it, as Lucifer is still gone. May he rest in peace. Lastly was a crystal ball that allowed whoever held it to see into their past and present. At least that is what my division believes. For whenever they attempt to view the future, the crystal turns black. However, when I look, I see myself floating over the world for but a fraction of a second before I get a sharp pain in my head. But that is all the notable parts about these last few days. So now, on to the culture of the Toffets. One of my interests before I was stolen from my home was that of the culinary traditions of the Toffets, so that is what I will be discussing in this log. Before I had even gotten my recorder, I would help my father make food for the communal feasts of Didna. We would have these feasts every 10 days just in case a lone traveler came by, so we could serve them to our delicious food that we would prepare. Very few times did this ever happen. However, when it did, it would be a great help to those in need, or even to just feed those that showed up. My favorite meal to make was Flamecrest soup, a thick soup made from the tender meat of a Flamecrest beast. I wish for this dish to be remembered beyond myself and even beyond the Toffet people. So, here's the recipe for this delicious meal. You may have to improvise on some of the ingredients if it is too hard for you to get them, or if you are from somewhere far away and do not have these exact ingredients. You will need the following to make this recipe: 1 weight unit of Flamecrest beast, 1 volumetric unit of diced onions, some garlic, 4 volumetric units of Flamecrest broth, 1 volumetric unit of cornmeal, 3 volumetric units of water separated into 2 and 1 units respectively, 1 volumetric unit of Zephyr fire sauce, 1 weight unit of Moonstrider cheese, and some demon chili powder and ember dust. To start, you should cook the Flamecrest thoroughly and set it aside in a large pot. You sauté the onion and garlic before adding the broth, and then combine the cornmeal with the 2 units of water and mix together until well blended. Add the mixture to the pot with the onions, garlic, and broth. After adding the mixture, you should add the remaining water, the Zephyr fire sauce, Moonstrider cheese, and seasonings to the pot. Then bring it to a boil. As it is boiling, shred the fillets and add them as it starts boiling. Lower the heat and wait for it to thicken. After it is thickened, it is ready to eat. I hope you enjoy this dish as much as I did. The terra firma do not seem to enjoy the vast array of flavors that surround them, opting to instead eat small pills that grant all the nutrition one needs. However, with my favorite meal now being immortalized for time immemorial, I shall end this log. Praise be to Dinah. Hello all, this is Researcher Sprite once again. The subject of these logs has left us with a recipe that cannot be exactly replicated easily, as something has happened to their planet of origin. However, I have taken it upon myself to create a recipe that can be replicated in most universes. I have left this recipe in the description below this log if you wish to replicate it for yourself. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your life.
Don't think I'll lose. I love a boss woman, tough woman, cute and kind of rough woman. Take me to the gym, tank top, hot stuff, woman. Hot for the muscle, my maze. Can you reach and trust me? I'm a woman that takes time, 'cause they got me in a chokehold. When they look, I fold. Feel like I'm do what I'm told.